Hi everyone, welcome to the 12th Standard English class. I'm Jasmine and this is the 21st module. In this module, we're going to discuss the lesson The Low Spring, written by Anis Jung and taken from the book Flamingo. Before we begin, I would like to bring your attention back to the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, where we had a chance to have a close look at the people in a slum, especially children. We saw the entire poem speaking about the sufferings and deprivation faced by them. I would say a new lesson, The Low Spring, is a prose version of the poem where it reveals the hopeless and insecure life of the slum children. Through the two protagonists of the story, the author Anis Jung describes the pitiable condition of the poor children who have been forced to miss the joy of childhood due to the socio-economic condition that prevails in the man-made world. These children are denied the opportunity of schooling and forced into labor early in life. Anis Jung is an Indian woman author, journalist, and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad. She started her career with the Youth Times, a Times of India publication. Jung came to the limelight with the publication of her book Unveiling India in 1987, which is a travel diary focusing on interviews with women. Low Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood was published in the year 2005. It focuses on children from the deprived backgrounds and includes the stories of different children, each facing different problems, such as maltreatment from alcoholic fathers, marrying off early, sexual abuse, etc. We have only a section of a book as part of our English curriculum where the author unfolds the life of two young children, Sahab-e-Alam and Mukesh. I hope you will find time to read the other stories as well. Now let's begin the lesson. We can begin with the first excerpt, which is titled as Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. As you read the first paragraph of the excerpt, you can see every morning the writer sees a young rag picker boy who visits the garbage dump near her house and searches for gold in it. The writer says that he searches for gold ironically because although the garbage dump is full of useless, thrown away things, still he shuffles it so minutely as if he will get something as precious as gold from it. Further, she tells the boy's name is Saheb. His home in Dhaka was in the middle of lush green fields. They had left it many years ago, and he does not remember it any more. His mother had told him that there were many storms which destroyed their homes and fields. So they left home and shifted to the cities in search of gold. The writer again says, looking for gold in the big city. Gold here refers to something precious which is not available in their hometown. Things like shoes, money bags, etc. for children, and food, clothing, shelter as means of survival for their parents. The boy searches for such precious things in the garbage dumps. One day, the writer questions Sahib and asks him the reason for shuffling through garbage. In the second paragraph, you can see a conversation between the author and Sahib as he replies to the writer that he has nothing else to do other than rag picking. The writer suggests that he should go to school. She realizes that her advice is meaningless for the poor boy. He replies that there are no schools in the area where he lives. He also assures her that he will go to school when one is built near his house. The writer here asks him jokingly that if she opened a school, would he attend it? For which Sahib says that he would join the writer's school. In this paragraph, you can see a few days later there happens another meeting between Sahib and the author, where Sahib runs up to her to ask whether her school is ready. Here the writer regretfully replied that it takes a lot of time to build a school. She felt ashamed at making a false promise because she had said this as a joke and had never intended to open a school, so she felt ashamed of herself. What's really surprises us here is Sahib's reaction. He was not hurt, not at all, because he was used to such false promises as they existed in large number in his empty world. He was surrounded by such false promises made by everyone around him. His world was empty as no promise made to Sahib was ever fulfilled. In this paragraph, you can see how Sahib reveals more about himself with the author so that she could do the same with us. As you read, you can see the writer had known Sahib for a few months when she asked him his name. He replied as if he was making an announcement that his name was Sahib-e-Alam. The writer thought that the boy did not know the meaning of his name, and if he came to know that his name meant Lord of the Universe, he would not be able to believe it. His name was just the opposite to his life. He went around the streets with a group of friends. It was like an army of boys who did not wear any footwear. They appeared in the morning like the morning birds and disappeared at noon. And by the time the writer could recognize all of them as she had been seeing them for the past few months. Here in this paragraph, the writer shares one of her experiences of having a dialogue exchange with a so called army of barefoot boys led by Sahib. She asks one of them that why was he not wearing any footwear. The boy simply replied that his mother did not get them down from the shelf. As they were beyond his reach, he did not wear them. In this paragraph, you can see another boy who is wearing a different shoe in each foot says the author that even if his mother would have given him the footwear, he would have thrown it away. He meant that the boy was not wearing footwear because he did not want to wear one. Then the writer asks the second boy the reason for wearing a different shoe in each foot. He did not reply and shuffled his feet as he tried to hide the shoes from the author. Meanwhile, a third boy tells the author that he was eager to get a pair of shoes as he had never owned one all his life. Here, the writer takes the example of shoes to highlight the condition of these boys. They search the garbage dumps looking for such precious things. She further tells us about her travel across the country. She had seen many children walking barefoot in the cities as well as in the villages. They all reasoned that they were barefoot not due to lack of money to buy footwear, but being barefoot was a tradition for them. Here the writer wondered and concluded that the reason of it being a tradition was a mere excuse to hide the fact that they were so poor that they could not afford footwears. Further, the writer narrates a story told to her by a man from Udupi. Udupi is a place in Karnataka. When he was a young boy, he would walk to his school. On the way, he would cross a temple where his father worked as a priest. He would stop at the temple and pray to God to bless him with a pair of shoes. After 30 years, the writer visited the town and the temple. Now the place was nearly empty. The new priest lived in the backyard of the temple. Plastic chairs in red and white color were kept there. A young boy came running. He was wearing gray colored school uniform, socks, and shoes. He had a school bag hung on his shoulders. He threw it on the bed and ran away. The writer wants to say that the financial position of the priest at the temple had improved over the last 30 years because now he could afford shoes for his children. But many others, like the rag pickers, remain shoeless. Here, the narrator was reminded of another boy who got a pair of shoes. He prayed to the goddess that he may never lose the shoes that he had got. The goddess had granted his prayer as the boy never lost his footwear. This shows us that the underprivileged people value anything that they get because they have been longing for it. Let's wind up the module here and we will do the continuation in the upcoming modules. I hope the module was helpful to you. Thank you.